Hello, my name is Cromartie, and I will be doing my presentation on spurious correlations, which is a interesting limit to the scientific method. I got a lot of my research and findings from reviewing chapter 2 of our book, Ferris and Stein's The Sixth Edition of the Real World, and I also got resources off of other website articles, vlogs, blogs, and publications about these incidents. So let's begin. What is spurious correlation? Well, it has Latin roots meaning false or illegitimate. Two variables or instances are said to be spuriously correlated if it is assumed they are related to one another. Assumed meaning that it's implied or inferred, but there is not any real logical evidence that connects them. Spurious correlations, interestingly, are made everywhere. They're all over our mainstream media outlets such as TV, online social media networks, magazines, vlogs, blogs, as I said, and many of our daily reading materials. Here is a chart that shows some of the, a little circle graph that shows some of the similar characteristics of spurious relationships. So there is usually no logical connection. There are hidden occurring events, which is also known as an intervening variable, where it's normally not the variable that we see that's causing another variable, but normally this unknown or often invisible factor that is really connecting the two. And it's also important that we understand the difference between correlation and causation as not being the same thing. So spurious relationships give the appearance of causation or the inference of them, but that's oftentimes not necessarily true. Here's a chart showing the intervening variable, which is usually connected to both variables or incidents, variable 1 and variable 2. But however, the change in one may not be caused by the same change in the other variable, and that's what makes it really a spurious correlation. Two variables or events are inferred, so they can be, they're referred to be related, but in fact they may not be linked. Inferred or impliance, as we know, does not always state fact. Here are some examples that I found for spurious correlations. This chart would suggest an increase in vehicle seatbelt use results in a decrease of astronaut deaths. But however, the likelihood of car accidents actually impacting fatalities in space is highly improbable. There may be a lot of other factors that are causing this instead that we could look at. But if you're just looking at crossing data sets, oftentimes that may be misleading and often void. There's not enough data, there's not enough critical analysis to just make that logical assumption. This example looks at a pirate shortage causing global warming, and you find this on multiple websites that I looked at, charts suggesting the decrease of pirates have resulted in an increased global warming. However, there are many other factors, as we know, that actually contribute to global warming besides this idea of a pirate shortage, such as increased human population, hyperconsumption, pollution, overuse of natural resources, just to mention a few, but also advanced technology, increased hypermobility, and many other issues that we could use as that, besides just saying pirate shortage. Here are some examples also made on a popular website by a Harvard Law student. He looks at iPhones means more iPhones means more people die from falling down stairs. Cheering for teams means you'll actually lose weight. Increase auto sales means, but you can increase auto sales by marketing more trips to Universal Orlando Studios. So all of these may look as if they have supporting factors, or they may look like they are related, but essentially there are probably other intervening variables that are actually causing these so-called correlations to match, not a actual causation, as they said. So in conclusion, I think by understanding spurious correlations, we can critically use data to actually develop logical connections. There was a lot of talk in the textbook about the idea of truth, which is also relative to perception, but also by Actually, I think critically contrasting, we can stop with misleading assumptions and actually maybe look at more valid facts as to why things are possibly connected. Also, we can help create and develop more paradigm shifts, which is a profound change in an approach or our informed way of thinking. And this, I think, would just stop with many of the false and misleading facts, false or misleading factors that lead us to state false statements. Thank you for listening to my presentation.